What's up, y'all? Welcome to a day in the life vlog.
You in the past, I'm in the future. You mad, they don't salute you. I need a back.
Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Keela Trishan and I make videos on lifestyle, insurance, and mental health. I also do vlogs, day in the life in the insurance industry, day in the life with small child, not a toddler anymore. um, all the things. If that's something that interests you, go on ahead and click that subscribe button below. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything from me. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back and thank you for your support. All right, so if you've been watching, and I know my posts have been scarce, but I'm sure you guys can understand, from the last video that I posted, if you had a chance to watch it, I lost one of my little brothers in January. And this was the week after the wildfires started in California. So it was like wildfires, I'm immediately put on special assignment at work. I'm dealing with that. And then my brother passes away. So this year's been a lot. It's been emotionally, physically, mentally draining. Like there's no way to sugarcoat it. Obviously, I'm still grieving. At the time I'm filming this, we're almost at the end of March. So it's only been 2 months since I've lost my brother. We buried him in February. And, the whole family is just going through it because everything that we're experiencing is like the first of everything. So my youngest brother just turned 30 and we had a party for him a couple of weeks ago, or well, like a week and a half ago. And it was an amazing party and it was nice to hook up with family and friends. But the elephant in the room is just that our brother is no longer with us to celebrate. And then his birthday is next. His birthday is at the end of May, right around Memorial Day. And it's like, not only is it his birthday, but then the day after is the anniversary of my father's passing. So it's just like, this year is going to be a very emotional one and a lot of like transition and change. So bear with me as I am going through this and just trying to figure out, what my new normal looks like. On the work side, obviously I'm dealing with people. Some people have lost everything. Some people have not lost everything, but their home is in disarray. It's not safe to go back because the air quality, a lot of the debris is still sitting there. The debris removal is being scheduled as we speak. And, just people are just going through it, like having to be displaced from their home while they have small kids, while they have elderly parents, while they're working, they're disabled themselves, or just even if they're not disabled, just having to uproot, right away is a lot. Is a lot for the average person. So dealing with those emotions and just trying to answer questions for people. Some of these things I don't even know how to handle, if I'm being completely honest. And it's not just me. My coworkers are in the same boat. A lot of us have not dealt with a catastrophe to this magnitude ever. And I've dealt with some pretty crazy claims. I've been in the industry. If you don't know, I've been in the industry. This year makes 10 years that I've been in the insurance industry. I've done auto and I've done property. Property I've been doing for about 7.5 years. I did auto the first 2.5 years that I was in the industry. But in all the time I've been doing this, and I've worked wildfires before, but nothing to this magnitude. Like, this is probably the worst that I think a lot of us have seen, even people that have been in the industry for years. It was literally a situation where we had to have all hands on deck just because, like, these areas were burning for days and weeks. Like, it was crazy. So anyway, we're now at a point with a lot of these claims where, we've made a lot of payments. We've gotten vendors in to do assessments on the personal property, but people that are within a certain distance of a total loss home, they're having testing done. So there's a lot of that. There's people that are concerned about the soil. The policy doesn't cover like foundation, soil, land, things like that. So then we've got people that are kind of coming at us about that. We have situations where it did rain, I want to say a month after the fires, and some of these areas experienced mudslides. So then some of those homes that were affected by smoke and ash, or even, partially burned, they're now having to deal with mud. So it's so many things, so many different like case laws that we're having to review because of this situation, different ways that we're having to handle the claims, and it's just a lot. So it's a learning curve, and it's just crazy that I'm going through probably the toughest time in my professional career at the same time as the toughest time in my personal life. So I'm just trying to keep my head above water. I feel like I'm a pretty strong individual and I'm able to take a lot. However, I'm at a point where I'm like, all right, God, give me a break. I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I think I've had it, up to here. I think I have about as much as I can handle. Switching gears though, I just logged in maybe about 20 to 30 minutes ago. And if you've been watching me, you know that when I log in, the first thing I do is kind of check and see what emails I have, and I look on my desktop to see what I have planned for the day. Now, yesterday when I came in, it was Monday yesterday. When I came in, I had a few complaints about just everything under the sun. I got people asking about testing. The testing is taking forever, and it's not their fault. It's because of the amount of people that need testing. So I'm having to just have real conversations with people like, listen, I understand that you're anxious to move and I'm anxious to move too, but there are like a lot of people that are dealing with this. And so we are going to have to be patient, us as adjusters and you as a consumer. We are going to take care of you as much as we can, but we cannot, it's just like we can't rush the process. Like these people, they have to go out and do the inspections. They have to get the results together. They have to put together the report. It takes time when you're doing that for thousands of people. So we're dealing with that. And then, obviously we have our field adjusters going out doing inspections and preparing estimates, and then people are getting estimates from different people thinking that our estimates are too low, so now we're having to review supplements. It's just a lot of moving pieces. So yesterday I came into a few different complaints on the transfer claims that I have. Like I do the best I can, try to get as much information as I can on the transfer claims so I can handle it to the best of my ability. One customer's pissed off because she feels like the estimate that we prepared was too low. It was the estimate that I had available. So I just wanted to get a payment out because she hadn't been paid. But I told her, review it. Let me know if you have questions. So I got to review that. And then I have a couple people that are reaching out, asking about just different situations, like roof situations. Oh, my roof was affected. My contractor is saying the roof needs to be replaced. So I got to send out a roofer. I know that's all over the place. I'm going to stop rambling. So right now, customer I just responded to specifically about her roof. Her contractor was a bit aggressive with me, saying that he had been sending me emails and I hadn't been responding. I go and check my junk mail. Long and behold, the emails are in there. So I'm not even tripping off this guy. Like, I don't care what's happening. I responded to the customer like, look, I apologize. I didn't see his emails. They were in my junk folder. So I will go on ahead and jump on it. I'll get a roofer involved so we can confirm if your roof needs to be replaced, and we'll go from there. I got a roof report in that I need to review, and then I've got some questions from yesterday that I need to address with my insured. So I'm gonna go on ahead and just start working on that. I will check in here and there just to kind of let you guys know what's happening. But let's just say I got my work cut out for me today and for the foreseeable future. And, we're just going to take it one day at a time, one claim at a time. But, I just want to take you guys through a day in the life. All right, y'all. So quick vent. I need to make my smoothie, number one, because I was like feeling lightheaded. I haven't had any to eat today. So let me go in and make my little morning smoothie. But this customer just like sent me this crazy email and I just had a chance to go through it and I'm confused. Like I'm very confused. And I'll be trying not to be sarcastic with people, but like, what are you talking about? So long story short, he's in an Airbnb and I guess it's like a little far. It was an Airbnb that he moved into right when like the fires first started. So he just had to kind of get what he could get for his family. So the housing vendor that we engaged found a place that's closer, but it's also a little bit cheaper. So he's not understanding how the policy works and like how things need to be incurred and all that. So he's thinking that he should be able to use the money that's not being used because the place he's moving to is cheaper. He's thinking he should be able to use that money towards furniture. And I understand like what he's talking about, but like the policy owes like as incurred. So it's like, just because you have the money on your policy, if you don't need it right in that moment, the policy won't like reimburse it. Like I can work around that and I can make arrangements, but he's like not understanding. So anyway, so he expresses all these frustrations and then he says that he needs to get furniture. I'm confused because the place that he's moving into is fully furnished. Like it has everything. He doesn't have to do anything but move his family in. And like whatever clothes and stuff he has, obviously. So he's like, well, I want to buy furniture and I know it's going to, cause an issue when it's time for me to go back home and I have to get furniture. Like just this whole tangent talking about he feels like we're making it more difficult. No, you making it more difficult because what are you talking about? There's furniture at this place. Now, if you have an issue with the furniture, that's something I can help you with. If the housing vendor told you something differently, that's something I can help you with. But immediately I'm confused because if you move in, like it's like going to a hotel and you mad because they got a couch and a bed, like of course they're gonna have that for you. If you talking about moving other stuff in, that complicates things. We could probably work around it, but that complicates things. So I just had to respond back like I need some clarification because I'm trying to see what the problem is. They got you a place in an area that you want, fully furnished, like place for you and your, I don't get it. So please help me understand. Anyways, I'm too hungry to deal with this. So let me just go make my smoothie and I'll get back with y'all in a little bit. Hey, you guys. So it has been a couple of hours, and I've been really like moving. Okay. So I was telling you guys before that I needed to respond to some emails that I hadn't responded to yesterday. So I have a customer that had some housing issues. I think I spoke about that briefly. And I think what's going on, I don't think he's understanding how the policy works. And to be real with you, I don't really know how else to explain it. So I sent him, a response and waited for his response. He contacts me back saying that he ended up not going with the option that the housing vendor had suggested. He doesn't think that it's acceptable. He said it's in the burn area. I haven't looked at the address of where it is, but he doesn't feel comfortable living there. So I guess he found his own place. And that's why he was asking me the questions about like furniture and stuff. And then he also mentioned that, he's tired and he's likely going to just get a public adjuster to assist him moving forward. He's like, I don't want to, but I think I'm going to do that. Now, I don't know what people think like when they suggest that, because it's almost, to me, it comes off as a threat, right? And here's the thing. You are able to handle your claim however you see fit. If you want to get an attorney, if you want to get a public adjuster, we cannot guide you in any way on that. But if you choose to do that, that's fine. The process is still the same. Like I'm still going to tell the public adjuster that we need this, this, and this in order to make payment. I'm still going to tell the attorney that we need this, this, and this in order to make payment. The only difference now is that you will be sharing your settlement because they're going to take a percentage, with this entity. Now, again, I cannot, guide you any other way, but I think that, my thing with him is he's doing it out of frustration. He's saying he's tired. He doesn't, he's tired of dealing with it. His patience is running thin, which is completely fine. But I'm like, the policy is the policy. I can only like, you might not like what I'm telling you, but this is the policy. Like it's above my pay grade. It's above me now. This is what the policy says. And this is what my job is. It's to enforce the policy, let you know what I can and cannot do. And some people just don't like that. And I'm sensitive to the fact that you're going through a tough time. Like he has a couple small kids. His home is still standing. So home is affected by smoke and ash, but he is close to some total losses. So the air quality is pretty bad. I totally understand, totally empathize. But it's like there's only so much I can do. Like I can put you in housing. And then also people think that it's our job to find the housing. No, it's our job to pay for the housing. And we can assist with finding the housing. But if the vendor's not finding things to your liking, you can find things that better suit you. But it's like they don't know you. They're finding options that fit within your policy limits and that would appear to accommodate your family. You do have the opportunity to turn them down if you don't like them. I say that to say, I think, some people just kind of don't realize what insurance is for. And, I don't mind explaining, but it's kind of like if you get mad at everything I tell you, like, I don't know what else to do. Maybe you do need to get somebody to kind of represent you on your behalf because they'll be able to better understand and better explain to you how the process works. So there's that. In the meantime, in between time, I am almost at lunchtime and I'm pretty excited. Don't have any food. So I completely effed up last night. I made dinner and my plan was to have that dinner for lunch today. You feel me? But when I packed it, I usually will leave it like on the counter to fully cool before you put it inside the refrigerator. So I don't know what was happening. I think I thought my husband put it away. And when I woke up this morning, I saw all the Tupperware in the sink. And I'm like, what happened? I guess I left it out overnight. So the food, spoiled. And I was pretty devastated. But with that being said, I've been craving In and Out for like some weeks now. So I think I'm just gonna go on ahead and take my lunch break, go get me some In and Out, and then come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. But anyways, yeah. I have answered most of the questions, but I do need to go through some of the things that I got yesterday. Like I did get a couple of like personal property worksheets that I need to send to our vendor for pricing. I have actually have a therapy session tomorrow, so I do need to do some pre-work for that. The therapy is through my job. Like it's a job sponsored company, which is amazing. I get like so many sessions per year that I can use. So I need to do the little pre-work and stuff because my therapy session got pushed off. It was supposed to be last week, but my therapist was sick. So push it off to this week. And yeah, I don't know if I did everything I need to do. So I need to make sure I get that done by the end of the day. So yeah, I'm rolling, customers are reaching out asking for updates. I've pretty much gotten them their updates, but now I'm just trying to work on items. I try to stay ahead of the game. Like if I get an estimate in, I try to review it as soon as possible because I try to get ahead of the customer reaching out to me asking for an update. I try to get to you before you have a chance to ask me for the update. But sometimes I don't have an update. Sometimes I'm still waiting for stuff. So that's kind of what's happening on a lot of these claims. I'm waiting for testing and estimates and vendor stuff, whatever. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go on ahead and prepare to. I have about like 20 minutes or so before I clock out, so I'm about to just kind of prepare like a good stopping point, and then have my keys ready so I can go get this food. But yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back, y'all. So I am in this drive-through line, and it's long as hell, but it's so worth it. I know like some people have like a love-hate relationship with In and Out. I personally have a love relationship. Like my double double with grilled onions. I only have it, like a few times a year. So yeah, this is my first time this year having it, and I feel like I deserve it. I've been keeping up with my workouts, despite everything that's going on. I've been keeping up with my workouts, and just being disciplined. I've been eating for the most part at home, but a real one messed up and left the food out on accident. So why not? I was like, you know what? Let me just go on ahead and drive over there. It's also cheaper just to go and pick up your food. Like I'm a good DoorDashing, but like I'm good for a DoorDash or Postmates meal, okay? But then fees sometimes just get a little disrespectful. So I don't even think that there's anybody that delivers In and Out, not that I know of. So I was like, F it, I'm just about to drive over here, get my food, and then go back home and enjoy it, okay? So yeah. Anyways, just wanted to check in with y'all and let you know that I really did it. I really came out. Like as soon as I clocked out, I hopped in the car and got on. So yeah. Anyway, I have about like 30 minutes left. I think I've been on lunch for like 15 minutes. So the line's moving. It's just long. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna get this, go back home, and work on the next part of my day. I'm hoping that I can get like a couple more estimates out before the end of the day. And I need to update some reserves. If you don't know what reserves are, it's just basically where you like request the funds, like you kind of make an educated guess on how much money you need to resolve a claim. So I need to do that on a couple because once I get done reviewing the estimate, I want to have the money to pay them. So yeah, that's what I'm doing for the rest of the day. So, wish me luck. I'm back with the package, okay? I'm back with the package. Now I got about 9 minutes or so to eat, which is fine. I mean, I work remotely, so I could just bring the food to my desk, not that big of a deal. But I'm starving. So let me go on ahead and get this out the way, okay, so I can get back to, working. But yeah, I just want to let y'all know I made it back and I'm excited. Hi, I was calling to find out if I could get preliminary results for some testing that I ordered a few weeks back. Okay, yes, the address is okay. Okay, that's fine. I'll look out for a call back. Thank you. All right, you guys. So I've been back from lunch for about 30 minutes or so, and I wanted to review. I got an estimate from a garments vendor. So I was just kind of looking through their estimate to see what we're working with. I am going to need to increase the reserves on this file. So I'm just kind of going through that and putting together my explanation for the reserve increase so I can get that approved. That typically takes like 2 to 3 days or so, depending on how busy management is. But I want to get it in before the end of the day because I already know I'm going to start getting questions like probably around Thursday. Um, So if I go on ahead and get the stuff in early, I should hopefully have some answers by the end of the week. So going ahead and get that in. And then I did have to make a call to a testing vendor. I had a conference call last week with a mitigation vendor, one of my insureds. They were not able to give me like a preliminary written estimate for what they plan to do in the insured's home. She's basically affected by like smoke and ash, but it's like heavy smoke and ash because she's got a lot of total losses around her home. So she's got like patio furniture that's been affected, interior, furniture, just everything has been affected. So she needs structure cleaning. She needs like some work done with her content. Some items are a total loss. Some items are salvageable. So we've got that. But then the vendor that she's working with needed some preliminary testing results so they can get started because the insulation in her attic will likely need to come out. I told him, like, you guys have our approval to go on ahead and just remove that insulation because that's pretty standard. If it's exposed and there's particulate on it, like, we just kind of right to remove and replace. He's saying that he wants to know if there are like concerns of lead and asbestos potentially in the house, because if the insulation was exposed to that, his office is not certified to remove the insulation, so they would need to get another vendor involved, like an abatement vendor, to remove those items. So I just called the vendor that did the testing. I just called them to see if they could give me a preliminary, but the person that I would talk to was out to lunch. So I'm just waiting for him to call me back because they told me to reach out around today to, get some preliminary results, although it's going to take some time for the final report to be available. So yeah, that is kind of what we're going through, just, playing a waiting game. And, it just kind of is what it is. Like, I just give customers the expectation. Like, it's not a quick process, unfortunately, because this was, a crazy disaster. So many people were affected. And so, like, just like we're stretched thin as adjusters, the vendors are stretched thin, and people are expecting things to take the normal cycle time. Like, oh, they came out last week, where's the estimate? I get it, but just like they came to your house, they probably went to 100 other houses. Like, it's going to take some time to put together all of these results, upload all of the pictures, put together all of these reports. Like, it's a lot. Okay. It is a lot. So anyway, I am going to work on that. I'm going to note that file that I told you I just called the vendor on, but I am going to request the reserves on this particular file now. And then I had a rejected payment, completely my fault. I forgot to put the mortgage company on this payment. Just moving too fast, players mess up too. Not saying that I'd be playing, but you know what I mean. So yeah. Immediately when I saw that denied payment, I was like, now what the hell is happening? Because I reviewed the hell out of this and it was just a simple mistake. So resent that through, and then I think, I'm pretty much on track to, have a good productive day, but stuff always comes up. I gotta talk to my supervisor, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it today. I just, have you ever just not been in the mood to like talk? It's nothing against her at all. I love her. I just don't really feel like talking. I just kind of want to get through all the stuff that I can get through, and then probably tomorrow I'll reach out to her to discuss these things that I actually need some direction on. Like, I got a letter from an attorney, and it's just like he's making crazy demands, and I'm like, bruh. So instead of responding back to him via email, I want to put it on a letter so it's like official. That's kind of the preferred way at my company, just like put it in a letter. So I'm gonna talk to her and, probably draft a letter and be like, is this good? Or you want me to add something to it and go from there. But yeah, I have about 2.5 hours left in my workday. So it's been going by pretty cool. Been going by pretty quick. I need to open up this window so I can get some fresh air. But yeah, I'm just going ahead and put my head down, do some work, listen to my little audiobook, and I'll let y'all know how I end up ending the day. I know y'all probably like, this girl never properly end the vlog. She always talking about she gonna come back and she gonna come back. Promises on purpose. I promise it's on purpose. But yesterday, after I filmed that last clip, I got a text message from my niece's mom, and she needed to be picked up from school. Her school isn't like super far from my house. And so I was able to just kind of shut down for a little bit, go pick her up. And then I brought her back to my house. She was chilling, had her snacks, and I finished my shift. And her mom ended up coming to pick her up from here. So it was just a lot going on because my son got home. He was excited to see his cousin, homework, evening routine, all that stuff. So, yeah. But basically, um, it wasn't much going on at the end of the day. I just, if you've been watching me for a while, I have my like morning setup where I kind of check my desktop and emails and see what's going on, which is what I'm doing right now. And then in the evening, I kind of try to find a good place to stop and then set up my day for the next day, just with kind of the items that I want to address for sure. So I had a few like little payments and stuff that I wanted to make. So I ended up doing that. But there were like some estimates that I wanted to look at too that I just simply didn't get to. And it was just too late to be starting, like I wanted to do my workout. I had to cook dinner. So I try to, make sure there's a good balance. So didn't do too much overtime yesterday. Now today I might do just a little bit because I have a therapy appointment today. So that's going to be, it's usually like a 50-minute session. So I might do some additional work or whatever, but it's not going to be too crazy. So yeah, that's basically it. So if you enjoyed this day in the life, I know it wasn't really much going on, especially since I'm not going into the field right now because I'm on special assignment. I just want to show y'all what's going on. But if you liked it and you can respect the craft of being an adjuster, definitely go on ahead and click that like button. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you have made it this far and you have not subscribed, please go on ahead and click that subscribe button below. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything from me. And with that being said, you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.
You mad, they don't salute you. I need a bag, size is super. They turned your bag, it's like I never knew you.